Stop right there. Yeah, you. If you like all things entertainment, current events, or Hollywood, then look no further. Creator to Creators, hosted by director Meosha of Horror Noir, interviews filmmakers and creatives from around the world. Join in on the fun, guest celebrities, and informative information to have as a creator. Hit subscribe and stay connected to Creator to Creators.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators Today. Today, we have a special guest.
The one and only Norman Alexander.
Welcome. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Thank you for having me, Meosha.
Of course. Thank you. I always love going back to the beginning. I think that the beginning all kind of charts the trajectory of where we're going to be going in life and the beginning of you.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your childhood and what was that like growing up, and how did you kind of find your way into music?
Into music. I always love this question, and I feel like I give different sides of it to, different people when they ask. It's all true, but there's so many, you
Yeah.
know. But I guess the one I will give you today, the one I'll give you today is I was born and raised in Kingston, Jamaica.
Wow.
That's home. Earliest memory was just every Sunday at the beach, every single Sunday. Like my dad would pack us up. We were a family of eight siblings.
Wow.
Pack us up in the back of his van, and he would just let us run wild at the beach. Every Sunday. The life for me in Jamaica, I would say it was very bittersweet. Whereas there were as many for for the good times, the bad times, it balances it out.
Mm.
It's as much as there are good times, there are bad times as well. It's a very tumultuous neighborhood in terms of, crime and so my earliest memory again, one of my earliest memories again was just like, being fearful of like
Mm.
standing up inside my own house, like physically standing up because you never know when something might happen. A lot of things that I thought would dehumanize me or numb me. I think Lohrasp was joining us.
Hello,
Uh,
welcome.
he's coming in. His audio
Okay.
is connecting. But a lot of
Okay.
things that I thought would have negative impact and effect on me, it didn't. And somewhere along in that, the cliche, I think music found me because I needed something but didn't know how to ask for that thing.
Mm.
But I latched on to music, and I kind of just took it with me everywhere I went. Even growing up, we had four rooms, but there were like four different radios, and they were on four different radio stations in one house. It's just like a mess, right? But it's moments like those I remember, and I think that's what pushed me towards. It was so therapeutic for me as a kid. Didn't talk to a lot of people. I was very serious, very to
Mm.
myself. But I always had my music, and that was always good enough.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Okay, so I got to find the short answer. The short answer is I was born and raised in Switzerland, in Geneva,
Mhm.
and my both of my parents were always heavily into music. Um, my biological father was into sports as well, tennis. He taught me how to play tennis. I was really, really good when I was young. Then he, left and made me bitter with the sport of tennis. And I found love and refuge, if it's such a word in English. I know it's a word in French. I found a safe place with another sport called basketball, and basketball was everything to me. It was what I did every single day in any sort of weather, whether it was snowing, it was raining, it was cold, it was really hot, and basketball was my first love, and that's how I ended up in New York. Fast forward a lot of things in between, since I'm going to give the short answer. While I was playing basketball, I always had my boombox. Um, while I was practicing my jump shot or my moves, and I was playing different genres of music. I was bothering the entire neighborhood. I was known for that in outside in Geneva, Switzerland, in a small town called Versoix. And I was playing, hip hop records. I was playing dance music records. I was playing Michael Jackson, my favorite artist of all time. I was playing Whitney Houston. I was playing even Iron Maiden, Megadeth. So I can understand why people were going crazy. They were like, there's no flow in this music. One record is heavy metal, one record is, disco or 80s, or then it's dance music, then it's hip hop. So music was really close to me always throughout my journey as a basketball player. Then when I moved here, my basketball coach in high school, who was also, well, he was not my coach in high school. He was the person that opened the door for me to come here. I call him my coach, but he became like my father. This is a video that we're looking for. Actually, he had his little old school camera, where you had to put a tape in to record people. And he asked me, he said, at that time, he said, son, so what do you want to do after basketball? Because he always preached that basketball should be a vehicle. It could be a career, but it should be a vehicle also for the rest of your life, because there is an end to the career of an athlete, just like the career of a model, I suppose, and many other careers where once you get a little older, your body, cannot sustain that career. So I said, hey, I want to be in music and I want to be an actor. And those two forms of art were always close to me throughout my basketball journey. That's the point I'm trying to make. And when basketball ended, I turned to music, and the beginning of my career was an internship at Def Jam Records in 2002 or 2003, I don't remember. And from there, that was the beginning of my career as a hip hop DJ. Started in a mixtape game, did a lot of mixtapes. I was relatively known in the streets of New York. I won the Rookie of the Year at the Mixtape Awards. They had an award show for mixtape DJs. It was wonderful. And I won my first year Rookie of the Year, which was pretty hard to win. And then from there, I started having a big name in New York, within the mixtape industry. I was getting a lot of new records from the biggest hip hop artists before they came out, freestyles, exclusive remixes, featurings. I was friends with a lot of rappers. And that opened the door for me to become the resident DJ for 106 and Park on BET.
Nice.
And then I was the resident there. I got, featured daily on the show. Quick shout out. That got me a lot of facial recognition. It increased my relationships with other big artists, and I started meeting people from all sorts of industries, because we had hosts from the movie industry, we had athletes, we had rappers, we had R&B singers, we had CEOs. We had really a ton of big people. And then fast forward, maybe 3-4 years later, again, I'm saying a short version, it's still long, but a lot has happened. I've done a lot in my life, man. I've probably lived 3 lifetimes already at my age. I started to do open format clubs. I was really, really intrigued and attracted to the ability to play so many different genres of music in one set. That was the boom of the mixed crowd clubs. And then the beginning of what we call the champagne bottle service clubs. So the dance floor was starting to become smaller, and the amount of tables at clubs, high-end clubs, was starting to get bigger and bigger, and clubs were starting to cater more and more to clients and people wanting to spend a lot of money on bottle service. And in these clubs, you played a lot of mixed format. And I was really attracted to that, because if you remember what I said in the beginning of my story, when I was playing my basketball and practicing my jump shot and my moves in Geneva, Switzerland, my boombox was basically a mixed format thing.
Nice.
So I was able to play 80s music, disco music, hip hop, dance hall. At that time, there was a lot of mashups and different edits, and you could do all of that in one set. And I started to do that. And by then I was traveling the world doing very famous boutique champagne celebrity clubs, if you will, clubs where a lot of big celebrities went to.
Nice.
And fast forward 4 or 5 years later, I realized that my favorite part of that set was when I played house music.
Nice.
And that was the beginning of my career in house music. And here we are now.
That's awesome. Wow. What an incredible story you both have. Let's talk a bit about the new song, Follow Me. By the way, it's a vibe. I was like
Thank
jamming
you.
it around the house, like just cleaning around. Like I love it. It feels good. Talk about the process of making it.
I'll take this one on my
Okay.
side.
Sure.
Now the process, the energy is always is automatic when me and Lohrasp when we get in the studio. It's kind of like, he has a vision for it, and I'll come in with, my vision as well. And we work well in the same space where it's just like, yo, feel free, So it's a very throw paint at the canvas type of process, and I like that. As an artist, that inspires me to create more. So the energy is automatic in the studio, and I don't know, man. It felt like it happened in a snap, but it's we for a second we started, and then boom, we had it, and we were just like, yo, this is gonna be amazing. Like, we knew it out the door that this song, we did it justice for this classic, this New York classic, this song that has been the center of like New York culture at every barbecues, like Lohrasp loves to say, because I came here in 2006, and I heard this song every year, every single year. So to be a part of it and to do it the way how we did it, energy was through the roof.
Norman, tell the story of when you told me you were out. I think it was, I forgot with who, and you said you heard it in that one place, and you were like, this is a sign from the universe. Remember?
Yeah.
Where was that?
I was out at a he had told me that Lohrasp had reached out to me way before, and he wanted me to do this song. And honestly, I had so much things going on at the time, so I wasn't able to focus on that. I had a few stuff that I was writing for other artists, and things that had to be fulfilled. But I'm out at the trampoline park, with my nieces and nephews, and I'm bouncing. I'm like, song came on that, Friday nights they turn the lights down, and they get music going, and I'm like, this is the song that Lohrasp wants me to do. Right? This is the song. And then my nieces and nephews were just like in it too. They were just vibing to it. And I was like, wow, now I have a responsibility. Like, and Lo got the clearance that made it way more official.
Awesome.
This wasn't something that we were just gonna do because, we had the approval. And that was the biggest thing. We had the approval. We had an amazing vocalist, me. We had an amazing DJ producer, Lo. And you heard the result of that.
It's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
My side of the story is when I moved here, it's all connected to what I told you before. When I moved here, I moved with an African American family, person who I called my coach and is now my father. And if it wasn't for him opening the door, and he's really known in the basketball world in New York, and himself, he was a pretty famous basketball player. And if it wasn't for him opening the door, for me to come here, we would never even have this conversation. And I kept hearing this song at the barbecues. So once I started doing, became a DJ, and I was playing even in the first part of my career. I've been doing this 20 years. When I was doing mostly urban music and parties, there was always a part in a DJ set where you went old school, right? So you would touch maybe the new jack swing era. You would touch the 90s hip hop, 90s R&B, and then you would go into the set with Poison, Belle Biv DeVoe, and then you would play, It Takes Two, Rob Bass and Easy Rock, and you would play all of these records, and then you would play Follow Me, and the original, and the crowd would go crazy. So those were moments where I connected to this record so much because although I'm not African American, I grew up around mostly African Americans, and most of my friends are African Americans. I mean, I have a lot of different types of friends. That's not true, but I would say, yeah, maybe a good majority are there. And so I was always close to the culture. And then when I started my house music career, even before that, there's an artist that I'm a huge fan of. He's a huge house music DJ and producer. His name is Kreider, and he's a huge inspiration for me. And I remember tweeting him just as a fan. I've been actually looking for that tweet on Twitter, and I've spent hours looking for that, but I can't find it. And I tweeted him because he had redone a percolator. It's time for the percolator, remember?
Yeah.
And I tweeted him. I said, you should redo Follow Me, And he said, oh, mate, he's British. So he said, oh, mate, that's a great idea. So, but he never did it. So then you fast forward maybe 7 years later, I'm producing music, and I said, I'm going to redo it, right? And when I redid it, it was man, I did 7 or 8 different versions. And I spent a lot of time with different singers, and while all of them brought something wonderful to the table, for me as a producer, there was always something missing. There was something missing, and that was a certain power that cannot be explained with words. It can only be explained with God-given talent. That, and this is not to discredit any of these singers. They were incredible singers. I have 6 versions. Sometimes I just listen to them in my car just to remember the journey. But I knew that there was something missing, and I always knew that Norman was the person I needed. And because we share the same manager, I knew it was possible. So I reached out to my manager, who is his manager as well. And I said, I think Norman is the perfect person. And we finally did it. But yes, like Norman said, the clearance was really important, because you could redo songs. You could get, I don't know the exact language, but you could get like a license on Spotify or something. You just release it and that's it. You don't need, but it does limit a lot of things. You know what I mean? It becomes like just a cover or some, I'm not exactly sure. I'm still being educated with that process, since I'm a relatively new producer and releasing music. But I do know you're limited. And it took also, a long time, like almost a year to get clearance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the amazing, look, I want to publicly say this. I don't know if it's alias or alias. I hope,
I think it's
Liquid Todd, he played it.
I think it's alias, I believe.
Yeah, I would say alias too. Liquid Todd, when he played it on BPM radio, he said alias. And I said to myself, God damn, have I been mispronouncing their name this whole time? What an idiot I am. But anyways, I want to say to alias, wow, for making this record that you guys made. And I understand why you hold it so close to your heart, and it's not easy to get clearance. I understand that, but I want to say I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that you believed in me and in our version, and that you cleared it. And hopefully it sheds a light to your original version that I will always play in my sets for the rest of my life as well. And it gives your amazing song a brand new audience that did not know the older version. And also, I hope that we have made you proud, because without Alias creating the original, this version wouldn't exist. And right now, the feedback we're getting from some amazing artists, and I'm not going to name drop because I'm not like that, but they're really big people, whether they're in a house community or in a hip hop community, or even more older artists. They're all saying that we've made a classic of a classic, and it's really touching to hear that, because it could be very scary to touch such an iconic record. Because it could destroy you too. People could be like, what did you do to this? Hell no. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a little bit of the history of the track, and I'm so proud of it. It makes me emotional every time I listen to it. And it makes the goal was for it to make you sing, dance, and also to, at the same time, give a message to the world.
I love that. And you guys did just that. Literally. Kudos to
Thank
you
you.
too. Seriously. Amazing work. Loved it. Loved it.
Thank you so much.
Definitely. I just want to ask a question, and this, I think we all have these times, and we're in a tough time now with everything that's going on around the world. What keeps you going as artist?
Norman, you go first.
Yeah, why not? I will. Well, what keeps me going is, the reason why there are things that I wanted as a kid in my community that I think that would have made my life a little bit better. In the community that I grew up in, the library, a sports center, like a youth center or something like that. And I'm from Kingston 11. It's one of the worst communities in Jamaica. And I have a goal of putting those things in that community. So that's one of the things that keeps me going. And also, every day I wake up, I'm fortunate enough to be inspired by the world, right? I'm very open to the world. I'm very open to my nieces, my nephews. They're very young, and I see so much light in them every day. And it's kind of like they're waking me up, like, Uncle Junior, are we going in the studio? Like, what are you doing today? So, like, they inspire me, they motivate me. I also the biggest one is that I don't want to fail. That is my biggest thing. Like, I don't want to fail. So I work twice as hard, and I plan, I strategize. It keeps me going. I'm motivated every single day.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah. To keep it short and sweet. Hello?
Yeah, man. That's the most one of the most passionate questions I can be asked, because I have a slogan that's become a little bit known called "The Dream is Alive," and I've used it a lot over the, I'd say, last 10 years, and now people sometimes address me with that instead of my name. And I tried to create a clothing line. It's on pause now, but it was also called "The Dream is Alive." My thing is, Kobe Bryant was my idol, right? And I'm very vocal about that. It's all over my social media. I have a tattoo that says Mamba Mentality. And besides that, obviously my mother, I'm an actor as well. So my acting coach, who I absolutely look up to, her name is Susan Batson. She's pretty known, coaches Nicole Kidman in all of her films. She's coached a lot of other huge superstars, and her work ethic and passion is unmatched. And then, of course, my biggest idol of all, my mother, who's a professional classical pianist, and at 70 years old practices the piano 6 hours a day, 7 days a week, and walks 3 miles a day at 70 years old. So if you look at her, she looks like she's 55. So with that being said, I've been, and then also the person who I call my father now, incredible work ethic. So for me, it's bigger than art. It's bigger than music. It's about leaving a legacy and a inspiration that anyone in this world can do whatever they want, should they do it for the right reasons and have the right work ethic and dedication. I don't think you do anything for the money. I don't think you do anything for the fame or the attention. You do it because you love it and because you're passionate about it. And that wakes you up every morning without an alarm clock, right? Because you're just so damn happy about it. You can't wait. And that feeling is worth any amount of money in the world. But first, you got to find something that you feel like that. You can't lie to yourself and say, oh, this is cool, or, because if you really love it, you will do things that most people won't to get to where you want to go. But most importantly, like I said, I just want a little kid or even someone who's older than me to say, wow, look what he has done. This kid's from Switzerland, not even from Geneva, a big town. He's from a small town. Around my building was a forest, right? There was, and I made it to 106 in Park on BET. I made it to playing at Madison Square Garden for my family, the Tau group. And for the Knicks, for my Knicks and Rangers family. I've made it as an actor on 14 television shows, multiple guest stars. I was a pretty big hip hop DJ. I was a pretty big open format bottle club DJ. Now I'm starting to make noise in the house music world. I mean, the trajectory has been mind blowing. It to me, sometimes I'm speechless when I think of my journey. I played in 43 countries. I just celebrated my 6,000 show in 20 years. So that's 300 shows a year for 20 years. That's discipline, passion, dedication, and really no sleep for 20 years. So, you know, if I could do that, then if Kobe Bryant could be Kobe, if Michael Jordan could be Michael Jordan, if Barack Obama could be Barack Obama, if Steve Jobs could be Steve Jobs, if Kanye West was able to do multiple things at a high level. Look at Shaquille O'Neal. He's an amazing host on NBA on TNT. He now DJs huge festivals. He was probably the best center to ever play. Well, you could argue with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Will Chamberlain, but there was nobody like Shaq. People can do multiple things at a high level, and I really want to show that. I want to show that because I think that the world would be a better place if people did not settle. You know, I see so many people settling, just settle because society said that, or because you need to know. Why settle? No. And that's really what keeps me going. Obviously, I have huge passion for music. I have huge passion for storytelling and acting, and the whole spectrum of filmmaking. But most importantly, these careers are very hard. A lot of people hate on you, try to bring you down. A lot of people try to close doors on you. So sometimes you do wake up feeling discouraged. You do feel like, oh, maybe I should do something else. But what will keep me going is that face of that little boy that I could change by keeping it going. So hopefully that resonates with a lot of people.
I love that. That's wonderful. Oh man, this interview it's about to be over soon.
Yeah, sure.
This is so good. This is a great conversation. I'm really enjoying it. So I like to ask this question. It's a really there's no wrong answer, but the 3 levels of influence: money, power, or respect. And if you could choose one of those things, only one, which one would you choose and why?
That's a good question.
I know. I love it. I love hearing if you.
That's a very good question.
I'm glad you like it.
Do you need time, Norman? Because I got my answer.
All right.
Yeah, I need time. Go ahead.
Go for
All
it.
right, so let's give Norman the proper time he needs.
Yeah.
The first one that I will take is respect.
I love that.
I want people to respect what I've been able to do. I don't want to be full of money and power and people have no respect for me, right? I don't want to be in that position. I want the respect because I want people to appreciate and acknowledge what I've been able to do, which is immensely difficult. You want the full order, or you just wanted the first one? Then?
Oh, that's perfect. Just one. That was perfect.
Okay, good. I didn't know.
That's a great answer. That's a great answer.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it is. I think for me, I've had amazing influences in my life, right? My oldest sister being one of them. She passed away a few years ago from breast cancer.
I'm sorry.
R.I.P. But that very intact people with intact character and stuff like that. But I think there's a lot of change that I want to make in this world, in my community, both in Jamaica and here in in Queens, New York. A lot of things that I want to do. I think I could use a little power. Yeah, I think with power comes with great responsibility, but with power and how you use it can acquire the respect, but that starts with the man, the person, right? And I trust the man that I am, and I trust who I can be with power.
Love that. Love that.
These are
definitely great answers. For sure. We have like literally 3 minutes left. Okay. Where are you guys performing at? Do you have any upcoming shows? Any shout outs
Ooh,
before we end this?
of course, take it, Lo.
Yeah, we're performing this Saturday at PhD in a Dream Hotel in New York for the Sunset Party. Shout out to my good friend Matt Asante and my Tao Group family. Then we're performing at Vegandale Festival, which I'm a big part of and I love so much. Shout out to my entire Vegandale family. The festival is growing massively, and we're performing on the 16th at the one in New York at Randall's
How many
Island.
people? How many people?
I don't know if I can say that publicly. I don't. They would.
Oh, you can't?
All right,
Oh.
let's keep it. Let's keep it. Let's keep it.
Yeah, I've said something publicly before. They were like, "Oh, we'd like to keep that under wraps," so I keep that under wrap.
For me,
A ballpark? A ballpark?
a strong amount. A strong amount.
A lot of people, maybe
A strong amount.
I don't know, maybe 4 digits, maybe 5. I don't know.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I don't know. I leave that to the imagination. Just go on the socials and look at pictures.
That's right. That's right.
And then hopefully the
I
song
get to it.
going up.
I get to it before we lose. I'm gonna be at the New York Coffee Fest as well as Vegandale with Lohrasp
Nice.
at PhD next week, right, Lo?
Yes, sir.
Saturday. I'm gonna be at Rockwood Music Hall on October 19th. Me and a full piece band over there. We're gonna be doing our thing.
Nice.
And yeah, so that's where I'm gonna be.
Awesome. Well, we're excited for both, like everything that you guys have going together and separately. Congratulations on the new song.
Follow me.
Hey, hold on. How about we say congratulations to you?
Ooh.
Oh, thank you.
Everything you're doing.
Thank
You
you.
know, taking initiative and
Mhm.
asking amazing questions and
Yes,
Thank you.
being a great host and interviewer. And thank you for giving us an opportunity.
of course.
Thank you
Thank
so
you. We
much. That
appreciate
means a
you.
lot. Oh, thank you so much.
Mhm.
And thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time.
Take care.
Follow me, follow me.